think I've done 48 miles or something. There's a fucking 20-mile sign down the river there, 20 mile, and I've already clocked about 27 mile. Pisses me off. It's like yesterday there was a 5-mile sign, it was 8 mile into Nikolai. Fuck. I've got to keep moving or I'll freeze up.
350 miles through Alaska in winter on the Iditarod Trail.
My name's Katie Merchant. I was born and raised in Bavaria, Germany, and I moved to Alaska in 2002, right at the beginning of fat biking. Very few people had bikes then. I got involved with the Iditarod Trail Invitational race with my former husband then and started helping with it. The event has grown tremendously as well. It attracts world-class athletes as well as regular people that just have this dream of seeing the Iditarod Trail and traveling the Iditarod Trail under their own power.
It's pretty big. I mean, just the scope, the scale, the size of everything, it's just big. There's nothing really you can... I mean, you could try to compare it to a 100-mile race, but it doesn't even compare. I did a 200-mile in Finland last year, and even this feels so much bigger than that.
Like, for a start, Alaska is like some final frontier almost. It's a little bit mystic. And to come here and go so far out in the backcountry is just mind-blowing for some people. And I know it's going to be hard, it's going to be grueling, and there's going to be many, many days when I'm going to be out there going, what the hell am I doing here, you know?
There are a lot of things you can do out there, and almost all of them will hurt you. So you just have to kind of think your way through it. I mean, I've been out there when the goggles have been ripped off my face in a blowhole and just disappeared into the darkness, you know, and I've had a lot of things go bad out there that have taught me this to be measured.
The ride into McGrath last year was definitely all rideable. I can recall some colder temperatures and definitely some pushing through the pass and drifted snow. Not the worst year by any means, still a good year last year, but it was more challenging than this year for sure. And then last year going to Nome, it was, we just got snowed on so much and so much pushing, so drastically different. And I think that's kind of the beauty of this event. You just never know what you're gonna end up with, and there's so much mystery and the unknown. But as you learn more, it gets better. And it's a pretty majestic, beautiful thing when you can really do it. There's nothing in comparison.
Woo! Let's go, boys! Woo! Good luck, you guys!
Here we are out at the Iditarod Trail Invitational. 350 miles. Some of the most gorgeous country.
It's just slow going. When we took off from the start, I ended up, I had to bivvy out on the Swentna River first night. I usually make it to Yentna, but I just couldn't do it, and it was so fucking cold, man. I was in my bivvy for about 4 hours and it was freezing. And I got into Yentna and there was people getting flown out all over the place with frostbite. And I rested up there for a bit and then took off. Yeah, 2 years ago, I made another stupid mistake. I left Puntilla to go over through Hell's Gate. Left there about 2 p.m. got up on Ptarmigan Pass, it was blowing about 50 knots. Kept pushing on, it'll be okay, it'll die down. About 10 hours later, I was just absolutely wrecked. And I was freezing. I knew I had to get into my sleeping bag, so I just jumped in my bag. I stayed there for 13 hours. And as soon as I took my mitts off to get my bivvy gear off, my fingers flash froze. But I just had to get the gear ready. And I jumped in there. 13 hours later, I knew I had to keep moving. And it took me 2 days to do 40 miles to Rhone, and then they flew me out of there. That was scary, man.
What's going on, man? How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm Jay.
Wow,
Yeah.
fast.
Okay, if I just kind of hang some things up.
Yeah, of course. How are ya?
Hey, Cindy, how's it going?
Good picture.
There I am again, huh?
Here you are again, you crazy man.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Hey, it's not that cold out.
It was just a little bit on the river, not bad. I don't know what it is.
It only looks like it's like 5 degrees.
Yeah, maybe slightly colder on the river. A couple of cold spots, but...
It's about 10 degrees colder on the river.
Oh, this is a great stop. It's a good place to do what you need to.
Yeah.
Time for a nap. Good move. Let the sun come up. I'm freezing. Oh, dang.
It's fucking cold out here. Jesus.
I've done a lot of expeditions in my life, but not very many winter expeditions. So I'm used to like the sleep and taking care of myself, but the cold is a whole another element. And just it's really hard to eat and drink and take care of yourself. And I know I need to be eating and drinking, but I don't want to take my hands out of things, and so it's this like catch-22 of trying to do what you need to do, but also just keep moving and get to the next little refuge like this so I definitely need to replenish and kind of get some calories back in.
First night it got cold, but every time it gets below a certain temperature, like I start getting keys from my body where like my cheeks will start tingling, so I know I gotta pull my face mask up. Then my thighs will start tingling, so I know I gotta put my skirt on. Yes, I wear a skirt. But it's the best thing I found. And it was cold.
Everyone loves a picture of you trying to stuff food in your face and looking like a total idiot. The cold is the thing I'm most worried about, and I got a good old dose of it last night and get some more right now.
Good. We beat the walker. That was our main objective. The 2-footed walker is just like 3 miles back there, man. He's crazy.
So 226.
You're our first runner.
Yeah, first foot traffic. Yeah, I was gonna say foot always applies a lot more than running. I've run probably, I don't know.
So Kyle,
We'll be kind and say 20 miles.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's tough to run on.
Well, yeah. Well,
I mean, it's
anything.
like running, it's terrifying.
I was gonna say anything longer than 150. I don't know if there's really good returns on running. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the cost
right.
versus benefit.
What are you doing back there, Paul? Did you know this race is 350 miles? You're not supposed to be running that hard? Yeah!
Yeah, that was a long uphill. Come from the Midwest.
Did you have to walk it?
I didn't. I ran maybe a quarter of a mile.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a long uphill coming up from the Squetna River today.
Yeah.
It was nice weather, but it was almost too warm because like in the shade it was cold. In the sun it was broiling going up that hill. I couldn't, every 2 seconds I was peeling a layer, adding something. It was so tedious.
Well, we're at the finish line of the 150, which means we still have 200 miles to go. Oh my Lord. Just came 150 miles. I'm feeling about as good as I could, I suppose. Knees are sore, feet are tore up. That's what winter running is about. Do you realize that there's still 200 miles to go? I can't even fathom that. It's like, it's not a race. You're out there surviving. Slow and easy. Just gotta get to the finish line. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters but getting to that finish line. I'm gonna fuel up, take a nap. Rest is so important. I keep thinking 3 hours is enough, but it ain't. So you don't see nothing. It's all wilderness, and it's just so cool. It's hard to explain, but and then you get the mountains and coming through. That's one regret I have, is pushing through Rainy Pass at night and not getting to see everything, the gorge and everything. I wish we would have waited till morning and took it all in and took more pictures of that, but we wanted to get ahead of, because there's kind of everybody starts stacking up and then you don't have enough space, so I wanted to get ahead of everybody so we'd have room and to sleep in some of these places, and it worked out, but at a cost. We missed one of the most gorgeous sections of the trail.
What's the one story you're going to tell your grandkids?
Probably pulling a 42-pound sled uphill through dirt, which is just absolutely terrible, and still actually not feeling that bad until like about the end of the 12 miles, and that was at the end of like a 60-mile day after going up and down the pass, and I actually felt pretty decent still after that end of the section, but it was hard. And then of course coming on the bikers who were just hanging out and having a fire and like laughing.
Great old time.
Yeah, and I was like, I think I'm gonna try to do 20 more miles as I'm pulling my sled through gravel.
Yeah.
It was just a very like night and day, like, oh, there is a different way you could do this. Like, why am I doing it this way?
That was all worth it.
Ah, you bet.
A little overflow here. And now I'm feeling pretty damn good, so I got my mileage locked in. I'm shooting for midnight for Nikolai, and a couple hour rest there and bring it on home. Last night it got so cold I got behind on fuel and water. My hydro hose froze up on me a couple times, and I'd have to put my outer layer on to thaw it out. So right now what I'm doing is working a little harder than I should be, just to heat up the water in my hydro pack. And then because it's so nice out, I'm gonna stop, fill it up with snow, slosh it around a little bit, and then put it back on my back and work at least for another hour, and I should have a full bladder again.
When it gets warm, take care of your feet. I got a little trench foot towards the end, and that was painful. My last mile into Nikolai was about a 40-minute mile where I was almost in tears. It was bad. My feet were burning and painful and stinging every step. When I got into that checkpoint, I didn't know if I was gonna get out. I mean, I woke up in the morning 3 times and couldn't see myself getting out the door, so I just kept going back to bed. Eventually I had to get my shoes on, got out the door, and things just clicked mean, the last day was so beyond perfect, and I took care of my feet a lot. I stopped and took a lot of breaks, but for me, when it gets warm, foot care has got to be like number one.
There's always a couple of sections that I find very challenging. I find the section from Finger Lake to Puntilla Lake, Rainy Pass checkpoint, I find that Happy Valley very challenging. This year I loved every second of it. And so that's always good, that's refreshing for me, knowing like coming into it or how much I hated it or how hard it's gonna be, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that was a great experience. You're just like, it gives you a boost. And I would say the same thing happened with going from Rainy Pass to Roan, just because we were able to ride that valley. Like, I don't know if I've ever really ridden that valley like we did this time. It's always drifted in there. And even going up the pass, like, it's not steep as you might visualize a big mountain pass. I kind of call it more of a lower saddle in this passageway, but usually you generally push it because it's soft or something, but we were able to ride that, and I just know what a gift that is.
And finally, the last thing I saw before getting to the finish line was my friend Jay Peterberry, and he was not a hallucination. He had ridden out about a mile before the finish on this road to welcome me and give me the first hug. He's the reason I came to do this event, and he's the one who believed in me, and he's the one who gave me the confidence, the equipment, the know-how, and also the excitement. You know, he said to me, this event will change you. The finish at McGrath is in Peter and Tracy's house, this beautiful couple that have hosted the finish of the race. And they take care of you, and they make you a bath, and they tuck you into bed, and they give you some food and a cup of tea, and you know that everything's gonna be okay. It's the best finish line in the world, and one of the biggest accomplishments that I've ever achieved in my whole life.
Fuck. I think I've done 48 miles or something. There's a fucking 20-mile sign down the river there, 20 mile, and I've already clocked about 27 mile. And like this morning, I didn't leave Nikolai till 9 o'clock. I got up and had a hot breakfast and messed around and took off. Got to that sign down there, made really good time for the first 20 odd mile, and then seen a sign that said 20 mile to McGrath, so I went for it, but it seems like it's 30 mile. My feet are in agony. Anyway, I'll just get a warm sleep tonight. Mate, I've had some really low spots this year. I don't know what it is. It's the most I've prepared ever for a race. And straight from the start, I've just seen a battle. And I'm hoping that, you know, sometimes you start things that's not good and it gets better. I'm hoping that's what's happening.
Well, here we are, about 275 miles into this, and it is everything I could have wished for, and then some. Getting the opportunity to see what I'm made of, and actually taking that opportunity. Remember when I told you there was still 200 miles left in this race? I can't believe they're over. Good job, bro. Pleasure. That was fun as hell. It was like, there's no option. If I'm going, I gotta get to that finish line. Once you get to that certain point where you believe it can be done, it changes for some reason. I don't know why that is, but once you believe it can be done and you get here, you and get going, you don't question it anymore. I don't know why that is.
I had a good time, and most people don't believe. They think it's a lot of suffering, but like I think at the end of the day, like, if you're not having a good time, you're not gonna, it's such a long race that you can't do it and not have a good time. No, but I think there's certain things that you can suffer through. You know, you can suffer through a marathon. Tons of people do that. They push themselves and they suffer the whole thing. I don't think you can suffer for this many days if you're not actually having a good time. Maybe you can, but that takes a breed of person that I am not. Like, I had a good time. It was fun.
Finally to the end. It's an incredibly difficult, really hard trip. So thankful to get here. I was just relieved. Makes you wonder why you even bother doing this stuff sometimes, but for me it's just curiosity as well. That's about as simple as it is, and it's about as complex as it is. Just curiosity about what's over the horizon, and can I get over that mountain to get there, or through that storm, or whatever, just to get there, see if I can do it. Feels like a damn curse sometimes, but always at the end I'm proud, thankful that, you know, I had to go. Was it worth it? Damn right it was.
What are you gonna do at the bar? Sledding at the bar? That's not your normal bar activities, bud. So you sled down onto the river, down the riverbank? Yeah. You got a good sled? I got a friend who was trying to get rid of a sled, one of those big orange ones. You want it? Yeah, you want it? Alright, we're coming. He's right up here.
Who wants a new sled? Wow. You get 3 people in this baby.
6. You can put almost 4 people in there. There you go, buddy.
I think he liked it.
That was awesome. That was like the most fitting ending ever.
Oh, yeah.